what was their first exposure to the brand so that you can understand, hey, this is actually what's like attracting demand generation for your listings and for your brand. That to me is what you highlighted. So it's like, if auto campaigns, let's just assume, if auto campaigns are like the first bite at the apple for whatever reason for your brand, like that's people's first exposure to your brand. Well, guess what happens if you decide to turn off auto campaigns because you heard it at some conference that auto campaigns are bad, right? Well, now you're shooting yourself in the foot because that was people's first interaction with you.
Welcome to the Ecomm Breakthrough Podcast. Are you ready to unlock the full potential and growth in your business? You've already crossed 7 figures in sales, but the challenge is knowing how to take your business to the next level.
Struggling to know the best way to optimize your Amazon ad campaigns with all the recent changes? And do you want to know the latest tools and levers inside of Seller Central to grow your sales? Well, today's guest has managed over $100 million in Amazon ad spend and knows exactly how to crack that code on Amazon. Welcome to the Ecomm Breakthrough Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Hadley. I have scaled my own brand from 0 to 8 figures in sales, and now my mission is to take it to over 9 figures in sales. On my journey to 9 figures, I bring you unfiltered conversations with the smartest minds in e-commerce. Past guests include Kevin King, Michael E. Gerber, author of The E-Myth, and Stephen Pope from My Amazon Guy. Today's guest is Mansour Norouzi, partner at Incrementum Digital, and he is a mastermind behind scaling 7- and 8-figure brands on Amazon. He's helped brands crush it across multiple distribution channels and knows how to unlock maximum value from each marketplace. If you're looking to supercharge your growth, you'll want to hear this one. Welcome to the show, Mansour.
Very excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you on the show. I know you and I met at the $1 Billion Seller Summit in Iceland, and I was impressed with everything you were sharing about AMC at the time and just the different ways you were telling people like get into AMC and how you were utilizing it, like just super smart. So I'm happy to have you on the show. Mansour, give me just a quick brief background of, what led you to becoming a partner there at Incrementum Digital.
Yes, sure. Well, my background is in civil engineering. Actually, I have master in civil engineering, and then I moved to Canada in 2015. Oh man, has been 10 years. Now I'm Canadian Iranian, so I've got my citizenship. Then I moved here. I started doing work as a construction manager related to my field. But there was something missing, and I wanted to find something more flexible, that it's not reliant on the location. So I had that location freedom. I started searching and finally ended up with selling on Amazon. Okay, this is cool. Let's try this. I would say end of 2018, early 2019, I learned about Amazon. I started my first brand, which to this day I have it, but it's a low 7-figure business that it's an autopilot and it is just running. So that happened. Plus in 2020, I decided I'm like, okay, I'm going to go all in Amazon. I'm tired of construction. So I quit, and I wasn't ready, to be honest. I'm like, what I'm getting from this brand is nowhere close to what I was getting from construction manager. But anyway, I'm like, okay, let's just break the bridges and see what happens. I went to a few events, got to know Liran. And by the time I was posting about Amazon advertising on Facebook, LinkedIn wasn't that popular then. I was posting on Facebook, different groups. I go to Austin for Conversation 2019. I don't know if you still using it or you heard about ManyChat. Have you heard about ManyChat?
Yes, definitely.
Exactly. So that was the Conversation 2019. I got to know Liran, and a few months later, I joined Incrementum. So there were 10 people at a time. He asked me after a few months to become director of advertising. Fast forward to today, we have more than 50 people managing more than 5-6 million per month. and I'm still the director of advertising there. Cool to see how when you join with a company, you grow with them, you're in that path, and that growth has been amazing for me. And I guess 3 years ago, 4 years ago, Leon reached out and told me, Mansour, I don't know why we never offered you, but do you want to be a partner? I'm like, sure, why not? And that is the story of that. We have helped many brands on Amazon. Last year, I would say the brands we work with, they generated around 900 million in revenue. And also I launched a supplement brand in 2024, in January 2024. That is great. And my goal is, I passed 1 million. My goal is to hit 2 million, hopefully in less than 12 months, trailing to 2 million. So that's a goal of my mind in the supplement side, which I love that game. I've realized that I love CPG games, so I'm having fun there.
I love it. Well, I love that you have in-depth experience in the trenches working with so many different brands. You said what, 800, 900 million dollars in
Yes.
revenue? Like,
Yeah.
you see what the top brands are doing right now, and you're seeing the different tools, the levers that they're pulling. And that's what I'm actually really excited to have you on the show for today, is like, you get a peek behind the curtain of a lot of massive brands. And so for you to be able to share, hey, these are what the big guys are doing, and this is what I would recommend any 7-figure seller to be implementing in their business. That's what I'm excited to dive into today. So, Mansour, I know we're going to be talking about a lot of the recent updates or tools, changes that Amazon has provided to us, whether it be in Seller Central or in the advertising console. What's really interesting is that things have been changing very, very quickly. And Amazon's pushed out a lot of new features without really like giving a whole lot of advance notice or even training. And my opinion is like, not many sellers even A, know that they're there, but B, I would argue probably like 90% of sellers are not utilizing these tools today. And I think what you shared with me earlier is like, but these are the tools that the big guys are using. And if you're not using them now, you're going to fall behind. So, Mansour, what are some of those tools that people are not using that the big guys are, that's kind of leaving them behind?
Yeah, okay. Amazing. And to your point, 100% agree. Like Amazon keeps releasing all these tools, which they have been amazing in giving that first party, they're releasing data compared to a few years ago, but that we didn't have any. Now we have so much that you're like, okay, how I'm going to use this? What is this data? What is that data? I feel like Amazon has been doing a great job in terms of giving the data. For today, we are going to go over all these tools that I have a note here to what order to go with. But we will start with Amazon advertising. And I would say, as you guys know, Amazon Marketing Cloud has been hyped and everyone talking about. And one good thing happened in Iceland, Josh, if you remember, I was giving people the directions on how to get access to Amazon Marketing Cloud. Guess what? Few weeks ago, actually, Amazon some time ago released this Amazon Marketing Cloud for everyone. So you go to your account. I'm going to also share my screen so we could, for people who are watching on YouTube, they could see this as well. So if you go to your Amazon Advertising Cloud, Advertising Console, under Measurement and Reporting, everyone has access to Amazon Marketing Cloud now, which is awesome. And this is the most comprehensive and complex report that Amazon has released so far. And the reason is the way we use Amazon Marketing Cloud is that there are two ways to look at it. One is getting insights. Second is getting audience. Both of them are amazing. Audience is more actionable. And I'm going to give you just a few examples how to use it. As we have, not that I could talk about Amazon Marketing Cloud for hours, but I'll give you just few notes. And it might be a bit overwhelming because for Amazon Marketing Cloud, it is a query based. So when you want to get the reports, complex reports, you need to write a query. But Amazon has made it easy in different ways. One, recently, actually, this assistant, they added this recently, I'm just seeing it, which is AI. You can ask, it's going to come up with answers. But apart from that, if you go to the use cases, you can see all these reports that Amazon actually telling you what are the use cases for Amazon Marketing Cloud. And also, when you go to the projects and measurements, there are some templates for audience and for measurements. If it is very overwhelming, you don't know what's that, how to query, you don't need to write code or anything. You just go use the template, and they have great templates that you could use and get insights. Now, in terms of measurements, I'm going to give you few ways we are using it and the most important ones, because it's could be 100 ways, so many templates, plus anything that you want to query, you could, it's just limitless. If you can make a query, you can create the content.
Mansour, I love that. I am super excited to dive into this, because there has been so many people talking about, hey, use Amazon Marketing Cloud. However, as you highlighted here, it's not the easiest tool to use because it's SQL based, right? And again, how many entrepreneurs are like data superpower heroes? You know what I mean? Like, there's very few like data nerds out there that are the entrepreneurs. Typically, it's like, I don't want to worry about the data side. But there is so much value that comes from this. And Amazon Marketing Cloud truly has changed the game. So, Mansour, with that being said, what are you encouraging your brands, and what are the, like, how are you inviting people, and what's the best way to utilize Amazon Marketing Cloud today?
Great question. Number one for measurement is that we could see customer journey. Sure, you guys have heard about this. For customer journey, what it means is that you could see all the touch points of the customers with your ads. So they saw a sponsored brand video, they saw a sponsored product, they clicked on a sponsored display and purchased. So you could map all these different customers' journey to see what are, because when you are creating this report, which is one of the templates, when you're creating this report, it's going to show you that this path, which started with a sponsored display, then a sponsored brand video, then a sponsored product, here's the number of customers that went over this path. Here's number of purchases that led from this path. So you have the purchase rate for each path. That is going to show you that what is the customer journey and what are the highest purchase rate customer's journey. How we use this is that, for instance, if we see that, and by the way, we see highest purchase rate when customers are exposed to all of our ad types: a sponsored product, a sponsored brand, a sponsored display, and a sponsored video. So the way we look at it is that you see, okay, define which path is generating the highest purchase rate, and we decide, okay, seems like this is working the best. Let's double down on this. And when you combine this with audience creation, now it's the place we get the highest return. Meaning, if you see, I'm just going to make this up. A sponsored display, a sponsored product, a sponsored brand gives us highest purchase rate. What we do, we create audience from the audience section that I'm going to quickly talk about. Customers who saw our sponsored product and a sponsored brand, but they haven't seen our sponsored display ad. What we do with this, we take this audience, and now guess what? You could use these audience that you create from the AMC in your sponsored ads. We take this to a sponsored display. In the sponsored display, we create a campaign. We say, go after these customers. Because we know these customers haven't seen a sponsored display, we know their purchase rate goes up when they see all of these three ad types, but they haven't seen a sponsored display. So we put our ad in front of those customers. This is just one example of how we see this customer journey. The other thing is, Josh, for instance, you can see here async purchase overlap for upselling. Then you create this template. It's going to take time here. That's why I'm not creating it. When you create this, Amazon is going to give you a table that here are the customers that purchase product A. What percentage of those customers purchase product B from your brand? If they purchase product B, what percentage purchase product C? It shows you that what is this combination, so you could easily go upsell your product. You see, 20% of customers who purchase A, they purchasing B and C as well if you have a big catalog. So you make sure that you're creating audience that purchase that product A, and you push them the product C and B with advertising in front of them to increase your order value, because based on data, you see this is the highest overlap.
I love that. This is already super helpful. So what used to be Amazon, like the only way you could find like what products people were frequently purchasing together, you'd have to go to like your detail page on Amazon and see if they even had that feature available on the detail page that said customers that bought this also buy this and this. But sometimes it wasn't even your brand that they were purchasing with. But now you're being able to see, and plus now those are just sponsored listings, so it's not even helpful information. But now you're saying like in Amazon Marketing Cloud, you can see a more visual funnel of like, if people buy this, they will also tend to buy this from your brand as well. But I think the important thing too to note is that it's telling you what was their first exposure to the brand, so that you can understand, hey, this is actually what's like attracting demand generation for your listings and for your brand. That to me is what you highlighted. So it's like, if auto campaigns, let's just assume, if auto campaigns are like the first bite at the apple for whatever reason for your brand, like that's people's first exposure to your brand. Well, guess what happens if you decide to turn off auto campaigns because you heard it at some conference that auto campaigns are bad, right? Well, now you're shooting yourself in the foot because that was people's first interaction with you. So now that's got to go somewhere else. So I think it is very, very important that people actually like the insights that you can glean from this. It's not about just having the data, it's being able to gain insights. So Mansour, maybe can you help us show some of the reports and like how to identify the insights that actually drive business decisions from Amazon Marketing Cloud?
For sure. Actually, I wanted to add another use case that you were talking how 8-9 figure businesses use AMC. There is one use case that not all brands doing. And what is that? It is bringing your D2C data into the AMC. So what we do is that we bring all your information from your website. We input that into AMC, and guess what happens now? You could make a journey of customers who went to your website, but they didn't purchase. They came to Amazon and purchased. Or they come to Amazon, they check the product, and they then purchase from website. So you could build this customer journey between your website and Amazon, because that's a question that we usually have, and there are many brands selling. If you are running an ad to your website, I'm dealing with that myself with my supplement brand. I drive traffic to my website, but I'm like, why is the purchases low? The conversion is low. But to some extent, those customers, they go to Amazon, search, and purchase your product. So with this, you can bridge this gap and understand that, okay, what is going on to my customer journey between my website and here? Hopefully, at some point in the future, with all these multi-channels, different channels, we could bridge the gap. The only downside I would say is that when you are bringing data from your website, Amazon won't be able to match 100% of those customers. It's going to usually we see like 80% based on the emails and everything that they have. To 80%, they could match the customers, visitors from your websites to Amazon customers. So it's not like 100% everything is there, but that is a very best and advanced use case that 9-figures brand that have higher traffic in their website, they are doing to understand better what's going on with the traffic that they are driving.
So you're saying like basically it's like your marketing efficiency ratio, right? Your MER.
Exactly.
So to understand like, hey, if I'm spending on Facebook ads, but the Facebook ad is going to my my D2C website, but I know there's a halo effect onto Amazon. I just don't know
Yes,
what that halo effect is. You're saying, Mansour, the smartest minds in e-commerce, those 8 and 9 figure brands, they're using AMC to basically truly understand like what that MER ratio truly is for their brand.
exactly. Yes.
Love it. What else?
And what else? Let's go to a few of use cases of audiences. There is this report, this template, high value audiences. So what it does, it makes different segments for your customers and based on different percentiles of how valuable those customers for you are. For instance, 95 to 100 percentiles have the highest value. And as you can see here, the average product sales is $120, right? And so the first use case, you could just click on this, create lookalike. By the way, you could filter and say, if you have a big catalog, you could go even drill down to a specific ASIN. You could say, for this product, show me my high value customers. Right now, there's no filter. It's in brand level. And when you select, let's say I'm selecting top 30% of my customers, they are the highest value customers. You can create a lookalike audience to these people because you know if these are high value customers, lookalike audience customers will be valuable for me as well. You create audience, take it to the sponsored product, and you have higher multipliers for the bids for these customers because you know they are most likely to purchase from you and have a high value. They will be loyal customers to you, come back, especially if you have a consumable product. This is a great approach, and even not consumable product because it's just a lookalike audience. So this is one approach that you can use your existing customers, create a lookalike audience, target them with different type of ads. Very valuable, very good. Just make sure when you create a lookalike audience, Amazon has very similar clothes or whatever. Go with the first option. It is closely similar. If otherwise, it's going to be very broad that you might not see the results. So that is that. And Josh, here in the same tab, there is this missed opportunities. This is incredible, and this is one of the best use cases that we have for all of pretty much clients. It shows that here are the people, customers who had a detailed page view in this time period, but they didn't purchase. 30,000 users for this. Here is 5,000 customers added to cart, but didn't purchase. So what we do here, we create audience from this, add to cart, but didn't purchase. The lowest hanging fruit for you guys, you don't know how good this performs. Add this to your campaign. And usually my recommendation is don't try to add this to your existing campaigns because you might mess up with the performance. What I would recommend is that create a new campaign specifically for this. Create a new campaign and add these audiences on top of your placements. Give them a boost in bid adjustments. So what it means is that you could have a low bid, but you are saying Amazon that if a customer from this segment is searching, add to cart, didn't purchase, show me higher, increase my bid. So you get in front of them, target them with a sponsored display, and a sponsored display with a sponsored brand, a sponsored product. You could add a bid adjustment, multiply. So you could say, increase my bid for 50% for these customers. For a sponsored display, you could directly target these customers and say, go in front of those customers if they are in different product detail pages, if they are different pages on Amazon, go in front of them, show my ad. So try to target them with different ad types. You can see here, customers who did branded searches. This is actually a good one as well. They have done a branded searches. They have searched for your brand, but they haven't purchased. So get in front of them again. Just make sure you have a threshold for how many users, which is 1,500 for creating direct customers from there. If you want to create a lookalike audience, your seed audience should be at least 500. If you don't have enough, in this case, for wish list, for instance, it is 500. I can't directly create this. Go longer time period, like 3 months, 6 months, to increase that total users to pass the threshold. So this is just few of the good use cases that you can have.
Love this. All right, Mansour. So are you saying I can create these audiences, and maybe, I don't know if you can maybe do a short demo for us of like how to actually do this, but like if you create the audience, where do you turn on those ads for that audience? And I think like the lowest hanging fruit, as you mentioned, is like retargeting ads to people that have already added to cart but have not checked out. Like retargeting ads are stupid simple. Like obviously anybody should be doing that. What are the ad types? Like are you running sponsored ad campaigns, or is it sponsored brand, or is it sponsored display? Because my follow-up question, sponsored display has really bad metrics, at least last time I was looking at it, where it's like, it's more just attributing like, hey, it showed up on the page. They didn't necessarily click on it, but we're attributing the sale because like we showed your ad on this page. So cha-ching, even though you have no idea if anybody actually even saw that your product was even on that page, right? So,
well, good call out. I'll talk about that. Let's start from the first thing you mentioned. Let's just live create one here. You click in add to cart. I have enough in my pool. It's more than 1,500. So we could create the audience. If you want to drill down to any product, you could drill down, create audience, and you click here in create audience. You get to a new tab. And it says, as we can see, it says, what exposure type do you want? Do you want to just go after customers who have been ad exposed or non-ad exposed? In this case, I'm like, no, I don't care. If they have added to cart, I want to be in front of them, no matter if they have seen our ad or not. If you want to choose the product, again, it's asking here. So let's go in brand level. I call out a few things about that as well. You select your advertiser, which is your brand. And here is where I was mentioning, we don't want to create lookalike audience. Actually, I have seen some people make this mistake. They create lookalike audience to people who added to cart. I'm like, why would you do that? You want to bring more add to cart that they don't purchase? No, you shouldn't do that. But if you remember, I mentioned about your high value customers, always go with most similar. Is the closest. Don't go with other ones. They are so broad. If you are creating lookalike audience, go with most similar. But in this case, you want to create exact customers from the segment, which is rule-based audiences. Name it. And it says, do you want to adjust the date? Meaning when it passes, do you want to look at trailing 3 months or no? A fixed 3 months, which we go always with yes, meaning we want to update. We want to go trailing, create audience, and boom, you have your audience. As simple as that.
Okay. So we have our audience. Then what?
Then what? Good question. So you could add these audience layer on top of sponsored product, sponsored display, sponsored brand, all of them. Now I'm going to actually go to Campaign Manager to show you that there you could add it. For sponsored product and sponsor brand, it is like placement. You see how we add placement multipliers? If you go to bid adjustments, for those segments of audiences, you add your audience here, change audience. You can add your audience and say, boost the bid for the segment for 20%, 30%, 100%. So you add it from here. One thing that is very challenging as of now is that you could add one audience at a type here. So if I add the audience of add to cart, unfortunately, I can't add any other audiences to increase the bid. It's just one, which makes it difficult to scale, right? That's one downside, but it's for here for sponsor. So meaning, if I want to give you a bit more high level of what's going on. So with sponsored product, what we are doing, either we are having auto campaign or keyword targeting or product targeting. So I'm saying that, let's say we have a sponsored product of keyword targeting. If a customer search for ankle brace, and if it is in my pool of audience, if they have added to cart my product, but they haven't purchased, increase my bid for that customer. So when they are searching in the page, I am going to the pool for the auction with higher bid because that customer is in the segment that I have added bid, right? Bid adjustment. Same for a sponsored brand. You have your base bid in the campaign, but if the customer who's searching is in the pool of this audience that you have created, Amazon is going to apply the bid adjustment in the auction. They are going to put the auction with that bid adjustment. But did you have a question?
Yeah, so I was just going to say, so are you creating a specific campaign, and that campaign is it only being delivered to that specific audience, or is it being delivered to, so let's say we create a new sponsored product campaign, right? A normal campaign, it's one exact keyword just to make it simple. We have our regular bid that we're going to set up, but I can add my new audience to this. If I add my new audience to this campaign, at that point, does that new campaign that we created only get delivered to that audience that I just uploaded? Or is it like, hey, no, it's going to go to everybody, but you have a bid adjustment for your specific audience where you can increase it? So I'm just trying to understand, are you telling Amazon only serve this ad to people that are in my audience, or are you telling Amazon run this keyword campaign, but if somebody's in my audience, I'm willing to pay even more
Option
to take
two.
that placement?
Option two.
Okay.
No, it's not option one. The sponsored display is that option. I'll talk about it.
Okay.
But it is option two. That is why I said create a new campaign. And in this case, how you could deal with that to make sure it is more toward people who are in your audience. Put your base bid in the campaign for the exact low and with higher bid adjustments. So the way it's happening is that as a general rule, your bid is low, so you are showing up in different places. But for those audiences, you get to the bid that you want. The way, you think about this, lower bid, higher bid adjustments for that, add to cart. So kind of you are being served to those audiences. Doesn't mean it's just them. You show up in other placements as well. But for a sponsored display, you add this audience directly as a target. So you can create a sponsored display, add the audience and say, go just in front of them. Sponsored display is more targeted just to serve for those, but sponsored product and sponsored brand, no, you are just increasing your bid adjustments for them.
Awesome. So my question to you, Mansour, is what's working best right now? Let's say I have an add to cart audience, right? And I'm trying to retarget cart abandonment, basically. What's the best strategy? Is it sponsored brand, sponsored display, or sponsored product campaigns?
It is a sponsored product campaign. Plus, I would say we could talk about brand tailored promotion. It is one of my favorite tools. I run every segment of brand tailored promotions. If you want, we can talk about that as well for all of my products. So if you think about this, you are shown in front of add to cart, this audience that they haven't purchased, they added to cart. You have a segment in brand tailored promotion, giving them 5-10% discount. This combination, the increase in your conversion rate that you see is amazing. So I'm saying, if you are running coupon code for the segment of added to cart from brand tailored promotion, the sponsored product, the sponsored display will work the best because you show in front of them, plus they see the coupon code. So these two, we are seeing the best results. And I have tested this with one brand, actually this brand. The way we did it is that we talk about customer loyalty as well. There are so many tools that we could talk about. In the customer loyalty tab, you could see the drop off from your add to cart, right? It says this many people added to cart. Here's the drop off that didn't purchase. We started running brand tailored promotion coupon. We started AMC. And after 1 week of running this, in the drop off, we see how much? We see, I think, 20% improvement, less drop off in our add to cart. This combination has been very amazing for us.
I love that. All right, Mansour. So I think this may be a perfect segue into brand tailored promotions and the customer loyalty tabs. Is there anything else that we haven't covered with AMC before we jump ship here?
No, AMC, we covered it, but there's one tool here. I feel like people not using this enough, which is brand metrics. Have you used brand metrics?
I have. It's been a minute, but I am aware of brand metrics. So this is in the Amazon advertising console still.
Yes, this is one of the tools that we usually, when we talk with our brands and they want to understand what's happening with their market share, how they are doing compared in different part of the funnels, how they are doing compared to market. In the subcategory level, we come here. So for instance, this is an ankle brace product, right? You could change, where did I go? So you could go to change category and it's going to show you every subcategory that you are in. So in this case, I'm going to go right away. They have subcategory of ankle brace. I'm showing this in Safari, kind of it's messed up, but this is the purchase. So awareness, consideration, purchase. We see different part of the funnel for this subcategory of ankle brace. This is there, first of all, shows how you're performing compared to previous week, and it has the weekly and monthly. But what I love is this chart, shoppers over time here. It shows you based on shopper count, so you could see the flow of the market for category median, for category top, and your shoppers. So the questions that we answer from here for ankle brace is that in our brand, first of all, are we aligned with the category? So if you are looking at category top, is our change in the shoppers aligned with them, meaning we move parallel with them? So there are two things I want to do. See, either we are parallel with them, which is, okay, we are moving with the market, or we are improving, right? Our shoppers are improving. If I see something like this, I don't like it. Look at here. Oh, this is a good example. The category top from this week to this week, they increased, right? It means they are having better sales. Our shopper went down. So kind of shows me we had some issue in this week. Something happened. We did something wrong, which I think we increased the price or something like that happened. But this is a place that for many brands, we check here to understand how they are roughly doing compared to the market and the changes that they have. So this shows the shopper count, and they do the percentage change here as well. That what is that percentage change compared to the first week here? This is amazing. Have you ever used this, Josh?
I have looked at it, and I think there's like a conversion rate feature too. Is there?
When you click here, you have the conversion rate. This is another one that we always use. If the brands want to scale, if they want to push something, we check here to see this conversion rate for our brand, how it stacks against the category median and top. Usually, if you want to scale, we say, okay, are we better than category median? If we are better, so we have a chance. But if we see that here is 12% for category median, if we were at 10%, if a brand comes to us and says, I want to push with that, with the ad, I'm like, no, you don't want to do that. You want first to see what is causing this low conversion rate. Let's look at your listing. Let's look at your images, SEO, before wasting money in advertising. Because yeah, we would be able to push, but probably we won't see good results because our conversion rate is bad. And one thing that not enough people are using, this sales index. I love this. What it shows that, I'm just going to read what sales index is. Sales index quantifies the amount of orders your brand has generated relative to your most comparative peers. So in this case, for this brand is 85. You are performing better than 85% of the brands like yours in the category. This quantifies how you are doing in that subcategory. This brand has declined for so many reasons. They started increasing price. Now, I remember this was 95%. The way we look at it is that we look at different months, different time periods to see our goal is either to be the same or improve it. If we see this is declining, it means we are losing market share. So just to show you, I think if I go early by the way, same weekly, monthly, you can look at it. I think in February, we were very good. So 83, we were 89. we can see from here, this is how we are looking at it to see, oh, shoot, like there's something happening. This is one of the tools that we also use for diagnosing and understanding the market share.
No, I think that's super smart. I think the only caveat is you need to make sure that because it's just looking at the category level exclusively, right? So sometimes there are certain categories on Amazon where it's like there's actually a lot of like either substitute products or there's a jumble of products that you're like, these aren't like for like. We're comparing apples to oranges here. Have you been able to like answer that question, like where it's like there's a whole bunch of different products in this category, so this isn't really telling me how I'm performing against my direct competition? Yeah, it's at the category level, but there's a lot of crap in that category. So
That is
how
a
do you
very great call out. Actually, yes, that's the issue with that. We had a call with the product manager for this tool. Their goal, which they are not here, as we can see, they are mentioning to your most comparable peers. So their goal is that really to look at your products and compare it to the right products. That's the goal. And honestly, I don't know if they have fixed it or not, but eventually that would be the goal that, okay, this is my product. I am in a subcategory that there are different type of products. They are not all like mine, but their goal is just to make sure they narrow down to the products related to your product.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Great insights. All right, what else?
So from there, we talked about, let's look at the advertising still, brand tailored promotions. I don't know your experience, but for my own brand, I run every single one of these segments. Right now, for instance, here.
So Mansour, I'm actually very interested to have this conversation with you
Right.
because I initially started using brand Taylor promotions, and then I'm in the camp that thinks that I think it's a bunch of BS. Here's my theory, and I would love for you to either disprove it. Let's have a good debate here.
Yeah.
So
Let's do it.
my argument for brand Taylor promotions is that Amazon is not sending they're not sending an email or a push notification or any sort of messaging about your product. What they are saying though is if a customer who has seen your product, maybe they saw it today, and then tomorrow they maybe they got busy yesterday and their kid interrupted them. You're still shopping for that product. Today you remembered, oh, I want to go shop for that product. Well, now when you go back, you were going to go purchase that product anyways. You go back to it, and now there's a new shiny coupon code there. And you're like, I'm going to go claim this now, even though I was already going to purchase this. And I'm going to claim it. I'm going to add it to cart, and I'm going to check out. My theory is that, like, you're just diluting your margin by this because Amazon's not aggressively, like, reminding people about your product. It's just, if people happen to stumble upon your product again, you're now giving them an extra discount just as a courtesy to try to push them over the edge to check out. So that's my theory, that you're just kind of giving up margin. If Amazon actually sent push notifications or had some pop up in the cart or maybe resurfaced it to the top of their Amazon homepage, I think it would be even more compelling, right? But for the fact that, like, well, your customer has to end up finding you, which means you need to run sponsored display campaigns, which you alluded to, or you need to run more product sponsored ads in order to get people back there, which again, you're spending more money. But again, maybe it's a customer you would not, that's debatable, right? Would they have actually come back? I don't know. So that's where I'm at, Mansour. Tell me how you're using it and your opinion.
So no, you're 100% correct in terms of Amazon is not actively putting notes or anything, notification toward customers. But at the end of the day, the way I think about this is that one, we don't have answer to the question, if I didn't have this coupon, would they have purchased or not? That's the first. The second is that here we are looking at the new customer acquisition, right? The goal of new customer acquisition and cart abandonment. This could be the same thing that the what you mentioned, that okay, they have added to cart, they're gonna come back and purchase. Why would I add a coupon code? But I tested with this for exactly the same brand. And that is where I saw that 20% improvement in drop off. We had less 20% improvement in drop off. So I can tell you that, Josh, no, you got to run it. And I understand it could eat from your margin. But the way I think about this is that I don't know. I don't have the answer to that question. I'd rather give 5% coupon code. And for me, I have a supplement brand. There are so many CPG brands that we work with. For them, for me, is a non-brainer. I'm like, for me, the acquisition of this customer is very important. I don't care if they wanted to purchase, they didn't purchase. No matter what, I want to bring this person to my brand, because then after that, I know that when they become a customer of me, my lifetime value is high, and there are different ways that I can keep them in the loop. That is the reason we run it. So for CPG brands, I would say, no question, I would go with all of them. Like high potential new customers, high intent customer, you know how important the acquisition is in the CPG brands. But we go to brands that, okay, they are not CPG brands, there's no repeat purchase. Should I run this or no? I'm just losing profit by running giving coupon. I'm like, honestly, Josh, I don't have a definite answer that how much of this will be how many of these people will come back and purchase from you. But I rather not risk it. I want to, okay, I'll give you 5% coupon. Just come back. I want to sell my product to you. I have no problem with 5% coupon. The other thing that we gotta consider is that the same customer, when you bring to your brand, if you have other products, now you're getting that to the loop that, okay, you are in my brand. You know my brand, you have purchased from my product. The upside, what I'm trying to say, for me, upside is much higher than losing 5% from this customer because of running coupon to make sure I'm getting. I understand where you're coming from. Could be true. But for me, I have thought about this, there hasn't been any way to prove it. So yeah. I don't know.
But and I like where you're coming from. Like, if you have a consumable product, right, your biggest thing is like, I just got to get people in the door, right? And if you give up an extra 5%, yeah, to your point, so what, right? So I would say, like, if you're just on the front end acquisition and you're just making money selling a whole bunch of like random unrelated products, that's where this strategy is maybe like, maybe you want to keep those pennies, right? But if you have a true brand that I think you need to have if you want to survive in e-commerce over the next 5 to 10 years, and you have other related products that you want to upsell them to, or it's a consumable product, then just getting them in the door could be a big first step in them, becoming a lifelong consumer, increasing your LTV. So I like that. Is there anything else you want to add? Because I want to make sure before we run up on time here, we talk about brand tailored promotions and then that customer loyalty tab, because I think those are two very underutilized tools. But I also think brand tailored promotions is very underutilized. So is there anything else that you want to talk about brand tailored promotions that you think, hey, the big guys are doing this. If you're not doing X, Y, or Z here, you're really missing out.
Right. So, as I mentioned, combining this with the audience targeting with AMC could be very helpful and very efficient. But pretty much we run all of these segments. One thing, oh, by the way, if you have products that are related, this cross-selling is good. I don't see, and every brand I talk to, honestly, Josh, I'm like, please run this. These are good. I have seen the results. Right now with this brand, I pushed them, they started running, but still there are some segments that he's my friend, he's not running. Every time I'm talking to him, I'm like, run this. I'm telling you, you can see the results. But cross-selling is good. Adding your product to make sure if they purchase from you, then the brand looks familiar for them. With a small coupon code, you could bring them, sell other products. And one thing here is when you do this, add a specific product. I feel like most people go with add all products segment. They don't look at specific products. They think it's just a filter, but in reality, the segments are different. Here is an example. In market customers, you didn't have this when you are selecting add all products. So keep that in mind. The options start changing. View remarketing, cart remarketing, we had it, but views remarketing and in-market customers, we didn't have it in the other option. Even in all of these segments, when you go with add specific products, you see that different options. So I would say this is the place that I see some brands miss it because they don't click here. They think it's just ASIN filter, but in reality, the options are different.
Love it. And so at the end of the day, you can give as small as a 5% discount on there, and it's just going to give you a little like coupon badge right on the product detail page, correct?
Exactly. And to your point, actually, I said measurement is difficult, but here it's a good segue to how you could measure this. I don't know why I didn't mention it, but you run this for 1 week, 2 weeks, you go to your brand analytics, go to the customer journey. When I said customer loyalty, sorry, I mean customer journey analytics. So in customer journey analytics, what Amazon is showing you, the path from awareness, consideration, intent to purchase. So here, if you're listening to podcast, in the awareness, it shows all the category searches for the week 39 here. And it says that, okay, for your brand, 166 people search your brand name. So you have your branded searches as well. Just keep that in mind. With branded searches, it's just exact brand name because some products, they have a specific name they come up with a name for the product. It doesn't, Amazon can't identify those. It's just the brand name itself, any combination of the brand name. So you see what brand search is happening. You can see even drop off from your brand searches. But for category, how many people in the category searched? How many had a detailed view detail page? How many had a drop off? So here's the first thing. Let's say you run, Josh, in market brand tailored promotion. You're like, I don't think it's going to impact me. I don't want to run it. I would say, okay, run that coupon code. Do the calculation here. It would be a bit manual. Calculate this. What percentage of category search turned to view detail page? What percentage dropped off? After a week, 2 weeks, when you run this, calculate this percentage again. Do you see a less drop off after you running this? If you are seeing less drop off, it means, okay, that coupon code is working. You might not be able to measure it exactly there, but here from customer journey analytics, with few calculation of different weeks, you see that. Add it to cart. That is how I mentioned that, right? In the intent section, add it to cart. You run the coupon code. You might say, I don't want to run it because they added to cart. Probably they will be back. I would challenge you, run it, do a test, and then make a decision. Because for this brand, when I run that, let's say 53% drop off was before running the coupon code. They were dropping off, they weren't purchasing. After running that, 3% became some number like 45%. I'm just making up, I don't remember it. 5%. I'm like, okay, this is working because now I have less drop off in the add to cart segment of any coupon code you run. Actually, this customer journey is the best place to understand if you are seeing results or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How does it work for like the category search though? Because like you're not getting, I guess if you run a brand tailored promotion, does it show up in the category search? Like on the I thought the coupon code only shows up on the detail page. So really it wouldn't necessarily impact somebody searching. The only thing that would change for your search would be like your main image, your price, title. You know what I mean?
I believe it is the product detail page. And there are some other placements that I remember I read about this. I had a note about this, that it shows in different places as well. It is not only product detail page, but to your point, I'll go to double check, honestly. I can't recall that. Product detail page for sure showing up.
Yep.
But I believe there are different placements that coupon could show up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. But this is the place to this is where the data will tell you whether it's working or not, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. These drop-offs, at least for sure, from view detail page, just right away, go see what, for instance, add to wish list is one of the AMC audience segments that we have.
Yep.
Right? You could run that and see Do you see any impact in this? Is it going down or not? These are really very like very detailed analysis that you got to do, and they are very manual, but it could exactly show you what is happening. The other one is that, like here, we always love looking at our customers actually. So for some of the brands that we work with, they do all these off Amazon marketing and ads. So they want to see what's happening to their branded searches. One of the places that we see is from here. So how many brand searches we have on Amazon here in the brand, in the customer journey analytics. So we see that trend of branded searches because the one thing usually happens when we run DSP for our clients, the idea of how to show them, especially in the awareness part, it is very difficult to show what the results are because the ROAS is not important in awareness campaign. We just want people to know about our product. So you need to come up with the metrics to show that, see, this is awareness, we are running, and here is what we are seeing. One of the very important metrics that we could look into is brand searches, because at the end of the day, we are talking awareness. We want people to know our brand. One of the ways that show us they know about our brand is the branded searches. So this is where we look into. And if you are doing different tests, different type of campaigns, here is a good place to look at what is happening in this channel. And with looking at these numbers, just keep that in mind. It's not just looking at this to put the story together. You got to manually take different weeks, different months, and stitch them together. Otherwise, when you come here, I'm like, okay, so what? But when you put them together in different time periods, then you could build that story of, like this is happening, why that is happening.
I love that. Mansour, this has been super informative. Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you think we need to drill into in 60 seconds or less?
Oh, there are so many things. Maybe it would be another session. There are so many, like Product Opportunity Explorer. There are so many things that Amazon has added recently. They mentioned this custom analytics. I love it. There's a report that you could just drag and drop. And just I'll show you before we leave. One report that it's amazing. They added, and usually people, I think they don't look at it and they don't use it if it loads. Hopefully, which it doesn't. Safari is a pain. I shouldn't.
Doesn't like Safari.
Yeah. Okay. So there are different reports that you could, of course, if you are using third-party tools, you might have access to this. But one thing that I love, it is in their template. They added this recently, just as KPI card performance. Add it here, and boom, you have like year to date, month to date, week to date. What is your performance compared, you could say, to last period or last year? So you see that drop or increase. It could be average per day, absolute per day. So it is just one thing from custom analytics that if you save it there, you come here, you can, in one view, okay, what's going happening in my business as a general view. This is a great one view. There are so many things here that you can build. Don't underestimate it.
I love it. That could be a podcast session in and of itself, is creating custom reports. But that is a brand new feature that Amazon has recently rolled out. And it actually can possibly replace some of the third-party tools that you've previously had to use in order to visualize your data, because like Amazon has like 20 plus different like reports, FBAs separate from your detail page, and conversions reports and all of that, right? So like this can piece everything together for you. So I love this. Mansour, as we wrap up, I love to leave the audience with 3 actionable takeaways. Here are the 3 actionable takeaways that I noted. You let me know if I'm missing something. Action item number 1 is you need to take a look at AMC. If you have never looked at AMC, Amazon Marketing Cloud, today is the day, because everybody has access to it. Go into your advertising console, and you said it was under the reporting insights, right?
Yes.
Okay. So underneath the insights feature, go and see Amazon Marketing Cloud. And the real value, I remember this is 10 plus years ago. The real value of Facebook ads back in the day was creating lookalike audiences. It was like, hey, here's the valuable audience that I found. These are the people opting in and purchasing my products. Whenever we uploaded those, when we were doing wedding invitations, it felt like we were shooting fish in a barrel, because I would say, hey, Facebook, find anybody that's similar to these high value people. And we would always, we had a full list of people on our list and customers because of that. So likewise, something very worth exploring is Amazon Marketing Cloud. So that's action item number 1. Begin building your custom audiences and lookalike audiences there. Action item number 2 is to begin experimenting with those audiences. So run a lookalike audience and then activate some brand tailored promotions, or activate some sponsored brands, sponsored display, sponsored ad campaigns for those particular lookalike audiences and see how they perform. It's going to be a trial and error. And I think that's the insight that you're gleaning here, Mansour, is like, look, there's not one, like, this is it, you have to do this. Although I think everybody, like, one low hanging fruit everybody should do is the first audience you create is that add to cart. The retargeting, you're going to see really good ad performance on those. And it's a customer you probably would not have seen before. And then my third and final action item is to begin experimenting with those brand tailored promotions alongside the customer journey and begin creating some custom dashboards. I think the overall takeaway here for this is, first, you're creating the audiences. Secondly, you're then running some ad campaigns. But third, you have to be able to actually measure the success of these things. And it's in that customer journey. It's in actually creating a custom dashboard that can tell you, like, hey, yes, you made this change last week, and this is what it's looking like compared to the previous week. So you will only know if things are successful if you, A, first test them, but B, you actually have to measure their performance. So that's my final synopsis for our listeners today. Mansour, anything else you think I missed?
No, you nailed it. One use case I would add for AMC that we see good results: people who viewed our detailed pages few times, they haven't purchased. There is a ready-to-use template. We see one of the best results from that as well. They have viewed our page twice, but they haven't purchased it. Test that as well.
That's a good hack. That's a golden nugget there. Love it. All right, Mansour, love to ask every guest the following 3 questions. So here we go. Number 1, what's been the most influential book that you've read and why?
Well, actually, I wanted to go with different book, but then you reminded me of E-Myth, the E-Myth Revised. Actually, then I like, actually, that was a very influential in my journey, because that showed me how to think about the business, the system, and everything. I would say that was the most influential.
Yeah.
And most practical for me.
Yeah. It's a fundamental, like, book to help you understand, like, it should not be you working in the business. Right?
Yes.
So I love that. Great book recommendation. All right. What's your favorite AI tool that you've been using it, and how have you been using it?
AI tool, recently I have been using 2 things. One is that now everyone is a coder. I'm using Visual Studio Code, which is for coding, but I integrated Claude AI in that. Oh man, it's mind blowing. So from scratch, people use Lovable, but for me, this one has been much better, because you just write, it plans. It is incredible in creating apps. So I use create website. I use right now for our team, I want to create a bulk sheet editor, somehow automates a few things. I'm going to use Claude and Visual Studio. Plus Gemini recently for me has been very, very good, because and the last actually practice that I did for Amazon Accelerate, I don't know if you saw that or not. I gave all the YouTubes from Amazon Accelerate, the keynotes, that's what they are releasing, gave it to Gemini and said, okay, build me a one pager with all these updates, plus link to the direct part of the YouTube video. Oh man, in 5 minutes, I made it, I posted. went like viral. So many people used it because it was very good summary of everything that was announced. So these are what I'm using.
Brilliant. I love that. Well done. Love that idea. Very inspiring. All right, third and final question. Who is somebody that you admire or respect the most in the e-commerce space that other people should be following, and why?
I would say I love Kevin King because of the content. I love the newsletter that Kevin King has. It is packed with all these information he gets from different people. That is one of the people I'm following to get kind of be updated with all the hacks, I would say, and stuff, especially his newsletter these days. I try not to miss any of his newsletters because there are great nuggets there.
Yeah, another solid recommendation. Mansour, this has been awesome. If people want to learn more about Incrementum Digital, what's the best way to learn more and reach out to you?
So incrementumdigital.com, the website, everything is there. You can connect with us. Or if you need a free audit for your account for Amazon advertising, we could do that. Plus, for me, I'm always online on LinkedIn. I'm very active posting, so you could reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Mansour, this has been an awesome conversation. Thanks for giving us some golden nuggets today. We'll have to try to schedule a part 2 and dive real deep into some data analytics if we don't bore everybody to death first. So
you should do that. And it was an honor. Loved our conversation.
Awesome. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you for listening. Visit ecommbreakthrough.com for more information. If you've enjoyed today's episode, the best way you can show your appreciation is by clicking the subscribe button and quickly leaving a review. See you again next time.